Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. That's what I like to hear. How have you enjoyed the weekend so far? Nice applause, but not loud enough to give our thanks to not just CCU, but the program coordinators and the ASA team who made this weekend possible. Just a quick look at today's agenda. You'll get my report as chair of the board, followed by Vicki and Janelle with the executive team report. We'll be celebrating our class of 2025 fellows. Can you hear me okay? Long-standing members, remembrances, the CWIS Award, the Early Career Scientist and Campus Ministers Award, early career testimonials, followed by scholarship recipients, and an appeal, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do next year at Gordon College. So that's me, if you didn't figure that out already. But my name is Mike Beidler, and I have the honor to serve you as chair of the ASA's Board of Directors. And as I look back on this past year, I continue to be impressed by what this board has done. And this is your board of directors for this year. The vice chair, Catherine Applegate. We have our treasurer, Bob Geddes, our secretary, Mark Strand, and our members, Say Kim, Karma Carrier. And please, a round of applause for our new board members, Deborah Schwinn and Rita Wang. We also want to say goodbye to Efat Zidan, and we thank her for her faithful service during her time on the board. And this board has accomplished a lot in conjunction with the executive leadership and the ASA team. We've had a chance to shepherd some changes to the ASA bylaws and bring it up to date. In some cases to more modern standards of the way we do business. We've developed membership growth strategies and launched institutional memberships, and I think we're going to hear a little bit about that tonight from Janelle and Vicki. We created and instituted, for the first time, our annual Board of Directors self-evaluation. That way we're not engaged in just a bunch of navel-gazing. We're actually taking a critical look at ourselves. We also approved hiring a new marketing and communications coordinator, Kathy Spironis, and we thank her for her work, which has been amazing over the last few months she's been with us. So, we also approved purchase of some adjacent office space to expand our physical headquarters, and we've also progressed our strategic planning process. And if you're familiar with Jim Collins' From Good to Great, we also clarified who we are through the hedgehog concept. And we answered the question of what can the ASA be the best in the world at? And this is what we came up with. The ASA is a fellowship of Christians in the sciences that supports our members' spiritual, intellectual, and professional formation to serve society, science, and the church. That is what we're going to be best in the world at. We're also growing interpersonally, and our board began reading this year a book called The Culturally Conscious Board to improve how we listen and how we speak to each other and how we lead. And last Thursday, we even Zoomed with one of the book's authors during last week's board meeting. And all of this took place in a year marked by significant political disruption. During the last 6 months, some of you have watched colleagues lose jobs or research funding. At the Army Research Lab where I work, we've experienced a painful brain drain as people have taken the deferred resignation program or early retirement. And academics among us face pressure about their curricula or international students under their care. And if this trend continues, the United States risks ceding not only scientific leadership, but moral leadership. But the ASA did not ignore this moment. Early this year, the ASA's leadership and the board of directors sent you an email promising to stand with you in defense of faith and science in these uncertain times. We listened, we practiced the art of perspective taking, we prayed with each other, we prayed with you, and we lifted each other up. Has anyone ever read David Brooks' How to Know a Person? Raise your hand. That's not enough. That's not enough hands. Really should read that book. But let's be honest, the season is testing all of us, testing our commitment to intellectual humility. It's testing our commitment to radical hospitality. And not all of us are passing that test every day. I know of several relationships in this organization that have been severely strained or even severed. And even well-intentioned words, including mine, can miss the mark. Let me go back to that illustration. I have a confession to make. I gave ChatGPT that prompt, standing together in times of, or for faith and science in uncertain times, as the sole prompt. And that's what came up. I think it misses the mark a little bit. What's missing here? A cross. We've got some nice DNA, that's great. It's missing a cross. I decided to keep this anyway to illustrate a point. We may miss the mark in our own words and actions the first time around, but it's incumbent upon us to dust ourselves off and try it again with humility. But the ASA has never shied away from hard conversations in either science or theology, and politics will and should remain a part of our conversations and our gatherings. Why? Because we're human beings, made in God's image and designed to live in community. Aristotle defined the art of politics, politica, as the affairs of the cities. That is, the scientific study of how human beings should live harmoniously together in that community. So politics is not something that should be avoided. It's built into our very nature. So what happens in the lab, what happens in the field, what happens when we study Scripture, it doesn't stay there. It was never meant to. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, "Let your light shine before others." So science for Christians is a holy calling. It is an act of creator worship. And we wear two hats, the scientist hat in our respective fields and the God's image hat in our public discourse. Science expands knowledge of the universe God created, but we can't stop there. We're also responsible for how that knowledge is used or misused. And that brings us into the realm of ethics or policy, shared moral decisions. So eventually, scientific discoveries will enter the public square. And when they do, we must help shape the civil dialogue around them. Now, according to Section 10 of our bylaws, the ASA may not participate in or intervene in any political campaign on behalf or in opposition to any candidate for public office. This protects our tax-exempt status, and we're not in danger of violating it. But in today's climate, individual expressions of political concern have the tendency to get misread. So let me be clear. Individual political views expressed without speaking on behalf of the ASA are not violations. They are part of the necessary and encouraged work of civil, gracious dialogue. And here's the truth. While the practice of science, exploring the great and small of God's universe, is most certainly an apolitical endeavor, advocating for good science is a political act. It means pressuring our elected leaders from any party to listen carefully to what we've learned and help shape policy that promotes human flourishing. And so for the sake of unity within this organization, we don't take stances on matters that remain controversial within the body of Christ. But what we do advocate for is integrity in science, and theology for that matter. We do advocate for public-private partnerships, and we do advocate for the faithful application of our discoveries to the common good. And we must continue to encourage members to share their stories with policymakers, to speak out on how their research improves public health, improves security, improves well-being, improves politica. So the board of directors and I are grateful for your dedication, for your trust, and for your presence this weekend and for the rest of the year in your local gatherings. So we are all stewards of this fellowship, the ASA. So let us continue in the faith, let us continue in science, and let us continue together for the good of the church, society, and the world that God has created. So I'm going to invite Janelle and Vicki to come up and share their report for all of you.
I'm going to start the report, and then Vicki will take over from me. I guess I can look down here, can I? So I want to report on some of the past year and some upcoming opportunities. First, I will start by reminding you of the mission of the ASA. The ASA the mission is to interpret, integrate, communicate the discoveries of science with insights from Scripture and Christian theology. The vision, to focus our programming that supports the members' spiritual, intellectual, and professional formation so that they can serve society, science, and the church. And that we do this and nurture the values of intellectual humility, courageous curiosity, and radical hospitality. Also remind you that we work as a leadership team. So Vicki and I are a team, and she is a joy to work with. I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to work as a team. And this sort of gives you an idea of how we divide our responsibilities. And each day usually starts with a telephone call while I'm on my walk. So it's great. And what does the ASA do? We achieve our mission through all of you. We serve our members through trying to advance scholarship, professional development and formation, and fellowship and community building. We have been working hard to expand our reach, and I want to talk about a few of these initiatives. We're working on a membership growth plan, and just to remind all of you that when we do surveys, the way people hear about the ASA is through you, other members, and you'll hear a little bit more about that in a little bit. We're investing in chapters and affiliates, be growing a leadership cohort. We have been expanding partnerships and collaborations, and then I wanted to talk just briefly about strategic planning. We're we're close to finalizing a draft of our strategic plan, and then watch for the emails that invite you to come to the listening sessions we'll be having. I think we will have about 5 different ones scheduled. And I want to especially thank Paul Arvison, who's been really helpful in this process. So, capacity building. Let me talk about a few of the activities we've been doing, and they are also opportunities for you. We have been funding reading groups around The Road to Wisdom, the Francis Collins book. We encourage you to please take advantage of that. I have one going on in my condo complex. So it's really about reaching out to other people, non-scientists, because this book is very accessible. And as the people in my condo complex have said, they especially like the action items at the end, which is all about trying to cross those boundaries. So building our capacity to talk to people who disagree with us. We have regional funding for one-day conferences, chapter meetings, and speakers. So we encourage you to look at that opportunity and use this funding to build your chapters and affiliates. And then we are developing a leadership development program, and especially it will focus on underserved or inactive regions. So please, if you are interested or you know of an early to mid-career member who would benefit from both helping develop a local chapter but also some leadership training, please let us know. So those are the ways we've been building capacity, and now I'm going to turn it over to Vicki.
Thank you, Janelle, and it is a mutual joy to work with you as well. Greetings, everyone, and greetings to those of you on the live stream. I'm going to spend a few moments walking through some financial slides and membership growth opportunities that we've been involved with. And in terms of the financial highlights over the last year, as Mike has indicated, we are absolutely delighted to have Kathy Speronis on our team. It's been a 2-year prayer journey for us to find the exact right person, and we feel like God has answered our prayers in Kathy, and I know you've all had an opportunity to get to know her as well. We'll talk a little bit too about our new condo purchase that Mike alluded to. In terms of the financial strength of the organization, we've really had growing financial statements as well as a growing budget, and we've grown from assets of about $583,000 in 2014 to $1.4 million in 2025, and our budget essentially has doubled in that time frame as well. So God has blessed the organization financially through many of you and your giving to the organization. We adopted a new investment policy this year that is going to hopefully increase our returns while minimizing our risk. Another change that we made in the policy related to our draw policy out of the endowment fund. We use a 5% draw policy on a 3-year running average, and we feel like that is a more prudent way to go with the draw. So again, we have a great financial advisor that has been with us for many years, and he's very supportive of the work of the ASA in many ways. We meet with him on an annual basis. Our legacy campaign, which was launched in 2022 at our Point Loma meeting, we launched a $5 million campaign and we're delighted to report that we are at about $3.7 million in gifts and pledges toward our $5 million. We've had about 110 gifts, and they're both current gifts and planned future gifts. So many of the gifts are coming out of estates of our members. Many of our members are taking advantage of the tax benefits of the required minimum distribution through qualified charitable distributions, as well as the giving of stocks. So again, really grateful for the progress that we've made with the campaign, and we thank all of you that have participated in the campaign and helped us again in this capacity building effort to put this organization on a strong financial footing for the future. Just want to say a quick word about the office space. Some of you may remember that it was about 10 years ago that the ASA moved out of rental mode in Ipswich, Massachusetts. We had rented for about 35 years, and we bought 2 office condos in an adjoining town, Topsfield. We launched a $150,000 capital campaign to purchase the condos. Many of you made gifts, and we funded it through this capital campaign. We are one of about 10 owners in a 20-unit office complex, and so we've been watching over the last several years for adjacent units to go on the market, knowing that our team is growing. And just about the time that we hired Kathy, an adjacent unit came on the market, and the board quickly approved the purchase of it. So over the last month, we've bought the unit. We've blown a hole through a wall to make the space continuous. We put a new floor in, and there's Kathy, very happy in her new office space. So it cost us a total of about $63,000, and we're pleased to have received gifts in the amount of $30,000 to date, and we have another $33,000 to fundraise to take care of that balance. But again, delighted to have this new space for our growing team. In terms of the development efforts and resourcing of the organization, just to give you a snapshot of the ASA business model, about 15% of our business model is membership dues and subscriptions. About 40% of our business model is charitable contributions. I mentioned the draw policy from the endowment fund, the 5% draw policy. That funnels in about $50,000 a year into our operating budget. And as you can see, as the endowment fund grows, that number increases that we can pull into programming efforts. Another 20% or so of our budget is programming activities. So these various components make up the business model, and the charitable contribution portion of our budget has grown over time as we've made a concerted effort in our development program. In terms of last fiscal year, you can see the giving by dollars. We took in $270,000 in our annual fund, another $33,000 in scholarships, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. The endowment fund, we raised $172,000, and again, most of that is estate giving. So planned giving that has come to the ASA upon the passing of members, in addition to some current giving as well. And then we had designated giving of $338,000, and again, that came from a couple of organizations for capacity building. So in total, we've really had our strongest financial year ever in the life of the organization. And you can see the chart with the growth of the endowment fund, where over the last 10 plus years, we've really tripled the size of the endowment. We anticipate hitting the $1 million mark This year, we're at about $962,000 now. So again, the board is focused on putting the organization on a strong financial footing for the future. In terms of our member services and support, as Janelle mentioned, we really are all about our members and all of you and serving you and your God-given callings to science, society, and the church. And so here's a number of ways that we provide support. Mike alluded to the institutional memberships. We rolled those out in the last fiscal year. And those are opportunities for institutions, colleges, universities, partner organizations to purchase a pack, so to speak. We have a 5-pack and a 10-pack for the people that work for you. So we're pleased to have received our first institutional membership. Arnold Sycamore purchased a 10-pack for the faculty members at Trinity Western. So if any of you are in leadership positions and are interested in purchasing a membership for the people you lead, please see us. Janelle alluded to the member survey. We've gleaned a lot from the member survey, so thank you to those that have participated. What we've seen in the member survey is now playing into the strategic direction of the organization. We've worked on a number of different vocational opportunities, some of the workshops that you've seen here and the online programming that we've done. If you have other ideas, please see us. We're all ears and are interested in learning ways that we can be of service to you. We have a career center for those of you that might not be familiar with that. So it's a career center for job seekers and employers, and you can find that on our website. And we're also continually looking at leadership development opportunities, and some of that relates to the capacity building initiatives that we have in mind. And I just wanted to say a word about pastoral care. You don't see that anywhere in the deck here, but it came to me because I had somebody say to me today, wow, you guys do a lot of pastoral care in your roles. And we absolutely do. And it's a joy and a privilege to do that. We have a prayer committee, for those of you that might not be aware, that meets quarterly, that comes and prays for each of the members by name and partner organizations and the world at large. And so if you're interested in joining us in prayer, feel free. Our staff prays regularly in our staff meetings, and we just infuse prayer into everything we do in the organization. In terms of our winter symposium, we are thrilled to have lined up John and Charlotte Wiveley. They are both scholars at Belmont University, so they will be joining us on January 24th, 2026. And the title of their presentation will be The Role of Worship in Virtue and Character Development. And just as a reminder, our winter symposium was an outcome of COVID. And so I think this will be our 5th year running it, but how we coined the winter symposium is our outward-facing event. So we have many ASA members that invite people in their churches and friends and colleagues, and so it's a way for us to broaden the reach of the ASA. So please, as the winter symposium approaches, reach out to your people in your church and pastors and friends and invite them. We also have many watch parties going on around North America as a way to, again, broaden the reach of this particular event. Just want to say a quick word about our membership. We have about 3,700 members, subscribers, and followers worldwide. And of that 3,800, we have about 1,200 paying members that we call regular members, really from all over the world. We're very much an international organization. About 10% of our membership is Canadian. We have many Canadian members with us tonight. And Dana Oleskowitz, who you've met over the course of the weekend is our Director of Chapters and Affiliates, and Dana does a fabulous job of nurturing and developing the chapters and affiliates. And so we've got about 37 chapters. Those are our geographic chapters around the US and Canada, and another 9 affiliate groups. And the affiliate groups really have grown over the last couple years. And so we have a total of about 150 ASA members that are providing leadership to these 2 groups. And so if you're interested in joining the leadership team of an affiliate or chapter group, or starting a chapter or affiliate group, please see Dana, because we're poised to grow this number and would love to see it grow. Oops, I went the wrong way, sorry. Okay. None of what we have just talked about would be possible without our team. We have a really amazing team. It's a distributed team. So I just want to take the time right now to name them all. And if any of the team members are present, would you please stand and just stay standing till the end. Becky English is our rock-solid Director of Membership and Outreach, and I know Becky has interacted with all of you over the course of the weekend and probably over the course of the year. Dana, I see you here. Dana is, again, our Director of Chapters and Affiliates. Mark McEwen is our Digital Content Specialist. He's not with us here in person, but he is working behind the scenes back in Vancouver. So Mark is a delight to have on the team. Lynn Berg, many of you know, has been with us for over 30 years, and she works with us in the Topsfield office as managing editor of the journal. Michelle Pizzeni works in the office as well as our administrative assistant. Aniko Albert and Cy Gart are our God and Nature team. They are not with us this weekend, but they Zoomed into our board meeting on Thursday. Steve Kontakis, I've seen you, and please stand. Oh, there you are, hi. Steve is our new editor-in-chief of the journal and is just doing a really fabulous job with that. I see Becky standing in the back. Hi, Becky. Kathy, please stand. I'm going to introduce you here in another minute. Hannah Eagleson, our Director of Partnerships and Innovation. Hannah is responsible for the amazing group of students and early career scientists that are here this weekend. And then I also would like to acknowledge John Wood, our Executive Director Emeritus, who continues to be active with us on many levels. You're not retired really, are you? Because we keep you so busy. And Randy Isaac, many of you know Randy. He is not here with us this year. Randy retired in 2016, but has been very active on a volunteer basis since then. So I just want to, again, thank each and every one of these team members because, again, they're the ones that make this all possible. So let's give them a round of applause. Very good, you can sit. And before I have Kathy Spironis come up, I just want to let all of you know that Randy Isaac has recently had a heart attack and was a widowmaker, actually. And fortunately, they got him into the hospital in time and inserted 3 stents, and he is back home and doing well. But again, he's grateful to God that God spared his life. So if you think of it, be praying for Randy and drop him a note. And now I'd like to invite Kathy up. She's going to talk about some of the exciting initiatives we have in terms of expanding our reach in ways that you can help.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good evening. Okay, I'm not used to it like this because I have a line dancing business, so I'm used to line dancing, but I'll give it a try. Okay, all right. So anyway, my name is Kathy Speronas. I am the new marketing and communications coordinator for ASA. I started 2 months ago today. So there we go. And I would like to thank Janelle and Vicki for the opportunity to be here today. And all of you have enjoyed very much getting to know you. And so I just want to go over a few things. So we're looking here at expanding our reach a little bit. Okay, right now we have several social media platforms that we're on. And of course, we would like to grow in that area. And if you look at YouTube last year for 2024, you can see what our numbers are for that. 3,468 views last year. And then for the journal, over 45,000 downloads. That's amazing. I'm a librarian, actually, originally, and that's amazing for journals. I can tell you that right now. So our growth plan is to continue growing our social media. And I'd like to at least do that by 5 or 10% within the next year so that we can actually increase our reach a little bit more. So, and in order to do that, we're going to need a little bit of help. And that's where you come in. Hopefully I do that right. Oh, sorry, thank you. All right. So, when you came in, you received a card, okay? Should have received a card. And if you need one, we'll have them at the table there in the main atrium for you to get. But first thing is, of course, we'll look over here for just a moment. Follow us on social media. Okay, we're on several platforms, but we are expecting to expand that a little bit. We're looking at TikTok, Snapchat, Blue Sky. Some of these things probably some of them you may have heard of before, but when it comes to social media, constantly changing, all right? And then, of course, if you look on the other side, help us spread the word, all right? So I am actually challenging you today. If you can do 4 out of the 5 of these in the next 5 days and email me at kathy@asa3.org, then I will put you in to win one of our really cool mugs, right? So this is from our new swag store, and we do have the swag store online, but we have a lot of swag out there in the atrium, and we would love for you to take some home, okay? So we also have that online as well. So let's go ahead and go through these quickly. Telling 5 people about ASA in 5 days, okay? Bring someone to an ASA event. Share ASA with students and colleagues. When I looked, Becky English gave me the 2024 survey from last year's annual meeting. Over 55% of people that find ASA, it is because of a friend or a colleague or a professor that told them about it. That means ASA members are our greatest asset. Word of mouth, okay? Social media was like maybe 10%. Of course, we're going to increase that this next year, okay? Connect friends with ASA members. And then, of course, number 5, highlight on social media. And then there are different things that you can do to highlight that. Following our ASA platforms, which you now have some of those. Like and share posts, comment, or join the conversation. Tag a friend or colleague. Post about ASA yourself. And I will actually be helping as part of this to, put some little tips on social media to help you do that, to educate people a little bit more about that. And if you ever have any questions, you're always welcome to ask. And then I'm going to say for number 6, that's not on here, is, like I said, get you some swag, okay? We have wonderful hats, wonderful shirts. You probably saw me wearing mine yesterday, right? They're lovely, right? So I believe that's it. Like I said, you could go to our online store, and that will be open till the 24th of the month, and then we will actually have the online store from the 1st to the 7th of the month after that, okay? All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to next year. Thank you.
The ASA selects its fellows from among our members who've been part of our organization for 5 years or more and demonstrated a commitment to Christian service at home, at work, and through participating in the ASA or CSCA events and publications. This year's 5 honorees reflect that devotion and the wide spectrum of backgrounds and interests which the members represent. So I want to call up the 2 that are here with us today. First, it's Mark Bearden. Mark has a PhD in engineering from Carnegie Mellon University. He's gone on to develop innovative network software products with a diverse career ranging from early work at AT&T Bell Laboratories in network management to startup companies in the fields as diverse as document encryption, semiconductor fabrication, and decision aiding systems. Mark loves to help people discover the incredible design of the great engineer. He served as a teaching elder in his church and has done campus ministry with InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. He loves to read broadly, especially church history, history of technology, debates on human origins, and science fiction. So, Mark, do you want to come up? Our second fellow who is here is Ben Sanders. Ben started out with an accounting degree, but went on to get an MA in history from Arizona State University and did additional graduate study at the University of Chicago. For 12 years, he worked in Phoenix in finance before joining Community Ministries International as a campus minister at Arizona State University. He and his wife, Sarah, have ministered to faculty and staff and to student ministry leaders ever since. In 2012, Ben and Sarah founded Campus Christian Center in Tempe. They have established an ASA student chapter there. I believe it's the only student chapter on a secular university campus. And have been very active in organizing conferences around faith and science, collaborating with other institutions and organizations in the Phoenix area, creating a space for dialogue around faith and science. So do you want to come up, Ben? I'll just say a few things about the other fellows this year. Gordon Fish is a physicist and patent agent with a PhD from the University of Illinois and has been a member of the ASA since 1973. He is the author of 40 refereed journal articles, a book chapter, and 31 patents. Stan Rosenberg, who many people know through his programs, holds a PhD from Catholic University of America. He holds many hats. He's the VP for Research and Scholarship at the Council for Christian Colleges and Universities and Executive Director of its UK subsidiary, SCIO. And many of ASA members have benefited from that. In fact, this is the time of year when their programming is going on in Oxford, so that's where they are. And then Lauren Seifert earned her doctorate as a National Science Foundation predoctoral fellow while studying at the Ohio State University in the area of cognition and experimental psychology. Her areas of specialty are memory, cognition, and psycholinguistics. So let's give them all a round of applause.
It's an ASA tradition at the State of the ASA to recognize our 50-year members. Last night, as you know, we recognized our VIPs, which are considered our 40-plus year members. These particular members are members that have reached the exact 50-year mark in 2025. Many of them have attended many ASA meetings over the years and have been involved in local chapters in a variety of other ways. Unfortunately, none of them are with us in attendance tonight, but I would like to run through each of their names. If you are joining us on the live stream, we want to congratulate you for your 50 years of faithful service to the ASA. So first of all, Murad, Alex Annan, Dorothy Chappell, Heinrich Erbs, Larry Funk, Earl Gottfried, Gerald Hess, Sarah Miles, Stephen Musterman, Ronald Myers, Willard Roundy, Jeff Schloss, Stuart Swenson, Alan Van Antwerp, and Kurt Wood. Let's give them a round of applause. And before we move to the remembrances, I just want to say a quick word. Janelle and I have had the opportunity to visit many of these people that you see here on the screen, but I'm thinking of the most recent visit was in January when I flew to Grand Rapids to attend Deb Harsma's retirement from BioLogos, and Janelle and I had the opportunity to get together with Alan Van Antwerp and his wife. And it was the middle of a Michigan snowstorm, and we had arranged to meet them at a coffee shop. And Janelle and I had been at another visit further away, visiting a longstanding ASA member, and the snow started flying, and we're making our way back, and we're getting nervous on the road that it was slippery and icy. And so we contacted Alan and said, would you like to cancel? You know, I know the roads are really slippery. And he says, oh no, no problem at all. So he and his lovely wife show up. They drove 60 miles to meet us. Now, mind you, he's 96 years old, and he was completely unfazed by making the trip. So just a delightful couple. Next, I want to spend a few minutes to talk about our remembrances. These are long-standing ASA members that have passed into glory over the last year. We have a Members in Glory tribute section on our website, and it's been a tradition over many, many years to recognize our members. So if you're not familiar with the section on our website, we'd encourage you to check that out. Randy Isaac is the one that manages that and puts together all the tributes. So I'm going to list all of these members one by one and just pause briefly at each one, and you might take the time to remember and reflect if you happen to know them. And I'm going to go slightly out of order here. Robert C. Fay, Alan D. McCarrick, Yeah, it was very sweet to see Beth and their daughter Sarah. I think it was very bittersweet for them to be here, but I think they felt like it was something that they wanted to do to put closure on that. Keith Mitchell, John Montgomery, John Osipchuk, Yoshihiko Otani, Anita Seeley, Lowell Smith, Margaret Town, David Allen Wing, and Davis Young. Oh, thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Ruth. And I'm going to end with Walter Bradley. Randy Isaac sent in a tribute that he wanted me to read to everyone. Walter Bradley was an energetic, tireless advocate for science and faith in the academic world. He was a giant among giants in the ASA. I first met Walter when he was elected to the ASA Executive Council. He came into the room and said, "Before we begin, can anyone explain to me why the earliest sunset in December occurs more than 2 weeks before the winter solstice?" No one had an answer, not even astronomer Jennifer Wiseman. Walter and I became good friends, not in spite of, but perhaps because we disagreed on a number of topics. He and I had many debates, both public and private, on a variety of issues, mainly in scientific apologetics. There were many ASA meetings where he and I would carve out a time and place to spend an hour or more continuing our debates. We learned from each other, exemplifying the ideal ASA model of close friendships despite differences of opinion. I really enjoyed spending a couple of nights at his house in Waco while planning the 2009 ASA meeting at Baylor. Walter was a great man who will be sorely missed, but those examples will inspire people for generations to come. Thank you, Bill. Paul? Thank you, Paul. And I just want to say I had the opportunity to visit with Walter and Ann Bradley in May when I was on a trip to Dallas, Waco, and Austin, and I visited them in Walter's memory care facility, became friends with them many, many years ago, early on when I was part of the ASA at meetings, and they just became good friends. So what we're going to do now is just take a minute to reflect and remember as I state this verse out of Ecclesiastes 3:2. There is a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot. For our members in glory, Lord, hear our prayer. I invite Sarah Gall up.
Good evening. I am here on behalf of the Christian Women in Science, and this evening I would like to present an award in honor of one of our earliest women leaders of the ASA, the late Dr. Marie Hirsch Berg. The Marie H. Berg Award serves to honor excellent and impactful women members of the ASA who have led to the advancement of ASA's mission. Dr. Berg was born in 1909. She was an educator, researcher, leader, and advocate for the Christian faith. She received her PhD in biochemistry from the University of Heidelberg in 1934 and held professorial appointments at institutions primarily in the Minneapolis and St. Paul regions, including Hamline University, University of Minnesota, Northwestern College, and Metropolitan State Junior College. Dr. Berg's research related to the biochemistry of various human diseases. Later, she turned her attention to fire science and the chemistry of combustion of plastics and other materials. She published broadly and became a fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, where she also served on their committee for encouraging women to enter science during the 1950s and 1960s. Dr. Berg was also the first woman ever made an honorary fire chief of the city of Minneapolis as well, and she was quite the character. Dr. Berg integrated her faith and science daily. She always reached out to offer the gospel of Jesus Christ to others and served as a model for blending human concerns with our technical work. Dr. Berg became a member of ASA in 1961 and was the first woman to be appointed as an ASA fellow, as well as the first woman to run for executive council, although unsuccessfully, in 1980. She served as the president of the North Central Chapter of the ASA and was involved in the membership committee at the national level. At the time of her run for executive council, the ASA leadership stated, "We are grateful to Marie Berg for her faithfulness to Jesus Christ and for the energy she has channeled into ASA causes." Dr. Berg was faithfully an ASA member up until close to the time of her death in 2007, and she is now in glory. We honor Dr. Berg for her devotion to the advancement of the ASA and the CSCA by recognizing one woman each year from the ASA or CSCA who represents a commitment to the advancement of women in the physical, life, and/or social sciences and faith, is a Christian woman studying and/or working in the sciences and/or participating in furthering the dialogue on science and Christian faith, exhibits a unique contribution within her field of research or work efforts, and exhibits a commitment to advancing the voices of women in science and faith endeavors, including mentorship of future women leaders in science and faith. The awardee will receive a pendant made from a Lake Superior agate, you can see some examples behind me, which were carefully collected, polished, and handcrafted by Gina and Chris Harmon from Gitche Gumi, a woman and Native American-owned business located in Michigan. Each of these pendants are slices from the same rock and are known as sister rock pieces to symbolize the sisterhood of women in the ASA. Agates are known for their colorful bands of microcrystalline quartz, but another thing that's wonderful about them is their translucency. This means that despite all the pressures that the sediments of these rocks are subjected to over time to form the swirls and bands that make them well known and favored by the world, light will always find a way to pass through them. Equally, the women we have honored have overcome so many pressures and obstacles over the years to become who they are today, and yet the love of Christ still shines through them. This light has especially shone over their service to the ASA, to students, to colleagues, and to the greater community. This year, we wish to honor ASA Fellow Dr. Janet Warren. Would you please join me? Janet and I had the chance to speak on Friday night, and I knew this, and I did not let it slip.
As you can tell, I'm quite shocked.
Janet earned her Doctor of Medicine degree from the University of Toronto, her Master of Theological Studies from Tyndale Seminary, and a PhD in theology from the University of Birmingham. Janet is an ASA Fellow and served as the president of the CSCA from 2016 to 2020. Residing in Hamilton, Ontario, she balances her professional life as a part-time family physician and an independent scholar in theology. Her medical focus is on mental health care and psychotherapy, and she served as editor for the Medical Psychotherapy Review, which is the journal of the Medical Psychotherapy Association of Canada, for 6 years. Her theological research interests include the integration of science, especially psychology, and Christianity, theological anthropology, pneumatology, demonology, healing, and Christian counseling, and she has published 4 books. Janet has been an active member of the CSCA and ASA since 2011 and has provided leadership for the Hamilton chapter, currently serving as the local leader. And her recommender writes of her, "It is an honor to observe Janet's care and love for both the CSCA and ASA and their principles. She is wise, patient, well-organized, diligent, and loyal. Janet is an exemplary example of one who is true to the ASA's mission." So please join me in celebrating Janet Warren.
Well, every year I think I have figured it out at last, and here we go. I am Hannah Eagleson, Director of Partnerships and Innovation for ASA. I'm here to give you a very quick update on student early career endeavors and to give 2 awards. I'd just like to say I'm, as ever, excited to serve students and early career members, and I'm thrilled with growth in a number of ways. We've seen growing numbers. I believe we're at 71 to 80 student and early career members here this week, which is incredibly exciting. There's deep engagement that's continuing to grow, with many of those members submitting posters, giving talks, speaking in workshops, participating in our new Lightning Talks format. and inviting and welcoming others into the ASA. And we've also started to pilot a year engagement cycle where in the summer we gather for this meeting. In the fall, we do a student-focused interactive online event called Faith and Work Accelerator. In the winter, we encourage everyone to have watch parties for the Winter Symposium. And in the spring, we try out an experimental format. Like this year, we did one in the GatherTown platform with Cheryl Chen that was a major hit. And then, of course, in the summer, we do the next conference again. So that cycle is helping to engage everyone and support them through the year. Now that I think I have figured out this clicker, yes, I will go on to celebrating the ASA Campus Ministry Awards. So this year, we are absolutely thrilled to celebrate the work of Ben Sanders. Ben is the executive director of the Arizona Center for Christian Studies, which works to serve all academic disciplines at all Arizona universities. He's a very innovative leader and advisor in the Christian Study Center world. He has also piloted a wonderful series of conferences called the Conference on Faith and Science. Many of you also know Carl Johnson, who is the director of the Consortium of Christian Study Centers. Carl and I know each other from Ithaca, and I remember recently, in the last few years, we both got an email celebrating the Conference on Faith and Science event, and Carl and I were emailing each other and saying, wow, this is like a guide to who's who in faith and science. And I have learned from Ben's wife, Sarah, that Ben knows all those people personally and really built and worked on those networks. And that's a very deep service to the ecosystem. He's also an ASA collaborator who has helped to grow campus and national connections and the ASA chapter leader at ASU. Ben, would you please come up, and we would love to present you with a certificate. We are also celebrating our Early Career Scientist Award, which this year we are delighted to present to Dr. Veronica Franz. Veronica is a quantitative ecologist and science communicator. She focuses in her work on biodiversity, conservation, and human-nature relationships. She has a dual degree doctorate from Michigan State University, and she is currently a Stanford Science Fellow. This is one of the most competitive postdoctoral programs out there, and we're thrilled that Veronica is in it. And she is also an NSF postdoctoral research fellow. In addition, as a science communicator, she has had her research featured in the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Smithsonian. She's also a deeply welcoming ASA student early career member and has brought and welcomed many other friends and colleagues into the ASA and has been a CWIS leader since 2021. Veronica, would you please come up and we will give you an award as well. We're posing for a picture in case there is a photographer out there. I forgot to pause long enough, but hopefully they were fast and got one of Ben as well.
Next, I'd like to invite up Kristen Kendall. She is an early career member of the ASA, and she currently is a research assistant at the Joslin Diabetes Center in the Boston area. Kristen served as one of the leaders of the Gordon College chapter when she was a student at Gordon, along with Matthew Ravichandran, who is here tonight. I believe this is your second annual meeting, so we're delighted to have Kristen here with us, and she also will be serving on our ASA 2026 planning team, and you will hear from her in a minute. So she's going to share with you right now.
Thank you, Vicki. So it's such a privilege to be here with you in Colorado. What a great meeting this has been this weekend. I've had so much fun, and it's been great getting to know all of you early career scientists. So as Vicki said, I was at the annual meeting 2 years ago in Toronto. That was great. And then I was also involved with the Boston and Gordon chapter. So what I really love about the ASA is that people here are just so passionate about the science that they do or whatever their field is, but they are also very, very committed, devout Christians. And both of those things are so important to me, and they're both things that I'm working on independently. What has been really encouraging this weekend has been getting to know all of the early career scientists. But then there's also so many of you that have been coming for so many years and are farther along in your careers. And just getting to talk to you and receiving advice and encouragement has really, really helped me. I'm someone who used to struggle with integrating science and faith. I grew up in a church background where that was a little bit tricky for me, and I didn't really have anyone in my life as a good example for that. This was so hard for me to the point where I had this natural interest in going into biology. But for years I tried to talk myself out of this because I just didn't see how I as a Christian could go into that field. So the work the ASA is doing is so, so important for young people like me. Over the last couple years, I've gotten to develop that and integrate my faith and my science. So I've come a long way, but you all have really helped me with that just by encouraging us early career folks. So a very big thank you to all of you who have supported financially to the Student Scholarship Fund. I know I wouldn't be here without that, but an even bigger thank you just for encouraging all of us, for sharing a meal with students and early careers, and just for being so welcoming. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. I want to say a few words about the Student Scholarship Fund. As Kristen attested to, it's a great joy and pleasure for all our students and early career members to be here, and it wouldn't be possible without the support of the Student Scholarship Fund. This year, we awarded 71 students scholarships for registration and meals and lodging, totaling $43,000 for them to attend this meeting. We have about 261 student members. So it is a tradition at the State of the ASA to take a collection for the Student Scholarship Fund. There are several different ways to donate. Baskets are going to be passed right now for cash or checks. You can give via credit card using the QR code on the ASA website, or via Venmo, putting student scholarship in the memo line item. And as the baskets come around, I know students and early career members, we recognized you last night, but we'd also like to take the opportunity again to recognize you now. So if you're a student or early career member benefiting from a student scholarship, would you please stand? And again, we just want to say a word of thanks to many of you who have contributed to the scholarship fund to make this all possible. We're very grateful. Now I'm going to call Kristen back up again to tell you about ASA 2026.
Yeah, so we are so excited to be hosting ASA 2026 on the campus of Gordon College, and that's in Wenham, Mass., which is on the North Shore of Boston. The meeting will take place from July 24th through the 27th, and our theme next year is Science, Faith, Synergy, Glorifying God and Serving the World. Our team chose the verse 1 Peter 4:10, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. With this verse, we want to emphasize that we have received a diversity of gifts, and this is a strength for the community. Each individual is called to use their unique gifts. Everyone is valued by God. We are given grace by God, and we must be good stewards of all that God has given us. So for our planning team, we have 2 Gordon faculty members, Craig Story and Kristen Seow. Angie Cornwell teaches at Northeastern University. Bob Tholen is one of the leaders of the Boston chapter, and I'm also on the planning team. So we have 3 confirmed plenary speakers. Kay Cook is a professor of psychology from Gordon College. Her work is about experiences of divine forgiveness among Christians across cultures. Felipe Duvail is an assistant professor of biblical and systematic theology from Trinity Evangelical Divinity School. His research is on the connection between moral theology and theological anthropology with a focus on gender. Jimmy Lin works in cancer genomics as the chief scientific officer at Freenome. And really excitingly, he was involved in the first genome-wide sequencing of a number of human cancers while at Johns Hopkins, and has developed new tests for early cancer detection. And Romanita Hairston is the Murdoch Foundation CEO. We're still tentative with her, and we're also hoping to get one more plenary speaker. So for our field trips, which I get to be involved in, so we're hoping to go to a Red Sox game at Fenway Park, which I learned recently is the oldest major league ballpark in the US. So I hope that we will all be rooting for the Red Sox, right? Not the other team. Yay. So I haven't been, but I've heard really good things about the MIT Museum. They have large collections in science, technology, architecture, art, and photography, I believe. So that should be an exciting new one that we haven't done yet. I really love spending time in Gloucester, a beautiful harbor town on the North Shore. So we're hoping to take a whale watch from Gloucester. And our last one, we're hoping to do a field trip, potentially at one of the nature reserves. Last time in 2019, we did Halibut Point, so we'll do either a geology walk or a bird watch or something along those lines. And we're also hoping to potentially add some more. So these are all a bit tentative at the moment, but we are very, very excited about them. So that's everything, and I hope to see all of you in Boston next year. I think we have Q&A before we get to our ice cream. Yes.
So Janelle, Mike, and I are up here, and we're here to take questions. So if you have a question, perhaps come down to the microphone. Or if you want to raise your hand and talk loudly, that will work as well. Any questions for us?
This is about the condos. I'm confused because I thought we bought a big condo that was too big for us and we were going to rent part of it out. And now you've bought another one? Could you clarify?
Yeah, so 10 years ago, we purchased 2 condo units in the complex in Topsfield that houses 20 office condos. We purchased 2 of those, And then just recently, we purchased a third one because we had outgrown our space in the 2 condo units. So now we have a third one, and we've been able to expand, and Kathy has an office in there as well. So it provides us opportunity for growth in the staff. Yes, exactly. Oh, you're ready for ice cream? Oh.
I have a question for the audience. Aren't you grateful for these guys? God bless you, thank you.
Yes.
Did you want to say something about luggage?
I will say something about luggage. And yes, we will head over to Anschutz Great Hall for the ice cream social and the intervarsity reception. And the winner, we will hear the winner of the poster contest. And intervarsity will have a short program over there. So please stay congregated in that room and don't disperse to the patio just yet. Brian had mentioned suitcases. So those of you leaving that need to bring your suitcase from your room, you have 2 options. You can either bring it over here with you, if that's more convenient, or you could store it in the Great Hall, just inside Anschutz. So those 2 options for tomorrow morning. Oh, yes, and the card for Charles Hunt. We have received the card, and my understanding is that it's out on the materials table right here in the foyer. So please take the opportunity to sign that. Okay. Yes, Dana said we could move it next door to the ice cream social as well. Good thinking. Any other questions for us? All right, thank you all, and we'll see you next door for ice cream.